Hello guys, how are you doing? I hope you're doing so great. Today we're going to start a new topic, present perfect. So let's start. Present perfect. The present perfect tense is a rather important tense in English, but it gives speakers of some languages a difficult time. That is because it uses concepts or ideas that do not exist in those languages. In fact, the structure of the present perfect is very simple. The problems come with the use of the tense. So let's start. The present perfect tense is really a very interesting tense and a very useful one. Try not to translate the present perfect into your language. That is important, guys. Just try to accept of this tense and learn to think present perfect. How to make the present perfect tense? First, you have the subject, then the auxiliary. In this case, you can use have with I, we, you, and they, and has with the third person singular, he, she, and it. Also, the verb. In this case, you're going to use the past participle of the verbs and the complement. Let's see an example. I have seen E.T. So, in this case, you have the subject, I, and have, that is the auxiliary verb because you're using I. And also, you have here the verb in past participle. Later, you're going to have a list, or I will give you a list with the past participle of the verbs. So, then you have eaten mine. So also you have the subject, have, this is the auxiliary in this case, also the verb in past participle and the complement. You have the subject, then the auxiliary, have or has. It depends of the subject, right? And after the auxiliary verb, you need to write down the word not. Then you have the main verb, in this case, in past participle, and then the complement. For example, she has not been to Rome. So, she is the subject, has, in this case, is the auxiliary because you are using she, that is third person singular. And also you have the verb in past participle, in this case, been, right? And also the complement. Or we have not played soccer. So also here you have we, the subject, have, that is the auxiliary, the word not, then the verb in past participle. In this case, this is a regular one, and it is the same as the simple past, right? So the complement also, so we have not played soccer. How to make a question? First, you're going to write down the auxiliary, have or has, depends of the subject. Then you have the subject, the verb, past participle, and the complement, and don't forget the question mark. Remember that in English, we just need to use the question mark at the end, right? So, examples. Have you finished? So first you have the auxiliary, have, then the subject, you, and finished. That is the verb in past participle, and also the question mark. This is a yes, no question, right? So the answer will be, yes, I have. This is an affirmative one, right? Yes, I have. Or the negative one, no, I haven't, right? Or you can have, where has he been? This is a WH word question, right? You're using where, right? Then the auxiliary has, because you're using he, that is a third person singular. And also you have the verb in past participle and question mark. This is a WH word questions, so you have to answer completely, right? So, the answer will be, he has been at home. So the answer, here you have an affirmative sentence, right? The subject, the auxiliary, the verb in past participle, and also the complement. So, contractions with present perfect. Here you have positive, I, you, we, they, he, she, and it, right? Here you have, I have seen her, or you cannot meet the first two word letters, in this case the H and the A, and you just need to write the apostrophe and use the two last letters. So I've seen her, you've seen her, or we've seen her, right? Also, you have he, she, or it. You say he has seen her. You can say he's seen her. So here you have to pay attention to the tense of the sentence, because you can get confused with the simple present of the verb be, right? They say he's beautiful, right? But in this case, you're using the perfect tense. So, also the negative form, you have I have not seen her, or you can say I haven't seen her. We haven't seen her. So you can contract the auxiliary verb in this case with the word not. Also, if it is third person, also she has not seen her, you can say she hasn't seen her. Also, you are making a contraction between the auxiliary verb and the word not. So she hasn't seen her, right? So also you have other examples here. This the questions, words, and how to answer them. Also the short answers. You have the affirmative ones and the negative ones. Then, how do we use the present perfect tense? This tense is called the present perfect tense. There is always a connection with the past and the present. In the present perfect, we started an action in the past and continuous in the present, right? So, we use the present perfect tense to talk about experience, change, and continuing situation. So, present perfect for experience. We often use the present perfect to talk about experience from the past. We are not interested in when you did something. We only want to note if you did it. For example, I have seen an alien. He has lived in Bangkok. We have never eaten caviar, right? So we don't care if you did something or not, but we want to know, right? If you did it, know when you did it, right? So, present perfect for change. We often use the present perfect to talk about a change or new information, to get new information, right? Examples. I have bought a car. John has broken his leg. So, present perfect for continuing situation. We often use the present perfect to talk about a continuing situation. This is a stage that started in the past and continues in the present, and will probably continue into the future. This is a situation, not an action. We usually use for or since with this structure, right? So that is the action that started in the past and continue in the present. So examples. I have worked here since June. If you notice here, we are using the word since, right, with this type of present perfect sentences. Also, he has been ill for 2 days, right? So, for instance, with present perfect tense, we often use for and since with perfect tense. We use for to talk about a period of time, right? 5 minutes, 2 weeks, 6 years, etc. For example, we use since to talk about a point in past time. For example, 9 o'clock, 1st January, Monday, etc. Right? So those are some examples. Here we have the examples, right? I have been here for 20 minutes. So remember that you're going to use the word for when we talk about time. In this case, for 20 minutes, for 3 days, etc. Right? So also don't forget the structure. First the subject, then the auxiliary verb. In this case, have, because you're talking about the first person singular, and then you have the verb in past participle and also the complement. I have been here since 9 o'clock. So in this case, you're talking about a specific time, right? So also you have the subject, the auxiliary verb, and also the past participle verb and the complement. Then we have another example. He has worked in New York for a long time, right? So in this case, you're using the word for. He has worked in New York since he left school, right? So there's a long period of time, right? There's since he left the school. Also here you have the subject, the auxiliary verb has, because you're talking about he. Also the past participle and the complement. So guys, that's all for today. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye bye.